Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video tonight I am going to be giving you a preview for the Manchester United versus Wolves game on Saturday, 5:30 kick-off at Old Trafford, and also on this video I am going to be giving you my starting 11 prediction for the game, and also to join me tomorrow because I will be giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference and that. So there'll be more news coming up tomorrow. Obviously I give you the news, didn't I, regarding Bruno Fernandes. Manchester United of course have officially signed him, and I do believe that Bruno Fernandes is going to be making his debut for the club against Wolves on Saturday evening and that. But I'm very very glad that Manchester United have signed him. He's going to bring creativeness in our midfield. He can provide goals, he can also create chances. Very very good player. So very very excited. I don't know if Bruno Fernandes' shirt number has been revealed as yet. These are a variety of options. Obviously, when he was at Sporting Lisbon, he did wear the number 8 shirt. When he was at Sampdoria, he did wear the number 10 shirt. Possibly he could get given that number 7 shirt, because we've had quite a few number 7s over the years. But probably more than likely, Bruno Fernandes will be playing in that number 10. This is where I think, Manchester United should put him. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has given his overarching view on the signing of Bruno Fernandes. He said that Bruno Fernandes is a fantastic human, and he believes he will be a great addition to the squad. Bruno Fernandes has also come out himself and said he will do his best to bring success and bring trophies to Manchester United and that. So he's very delighted himself. It got confirmed earlier on today that Man United officially signed him. Obviously, he had his medical today, and he also agreed the personal terms. Manchester United have paid €55 million up front, with around 25 million in add-ons. So that rises up to around €80 million, and €80 million equates to around 68 million in pound sterling and that. So I think based on the add-ons, the add-ons are based on of how many appearances Bruno Fernandes makes, also us qualifying for the Champions League. And I think, the other add-ons are based on, Bruno Fernandes' long-term achievements at the club. So there's a lot of add-ons included in the deal. Bruno Fernandes has signed a 5.5-year deal with the club with an option of a further year. So it is basically a 6.5-year deal. But, I think Bruno Fernandes is going to do really, really well for us. I think he's now going to replicate in the Premier League what he did do in his 2.5 years in Portugal with Sporting Lisbon. In his 2.5 years in Portugal with Sporting Lisbon, he scored 64 goals in 137 appearances in all competitions. And of course, he played around 19 times for Portugal and scored around twice, did Bruno Fernandes. But, Sporting Lisbon have made a huge profit on the player, because Sporting Lisbon got him for next to nothing from Sampdoria. They only paid around 7.2 million, was it, for him or something like that. So they have made a huge profit on the player. And when Bruno Fernandes was younger, he spent the entirety of his career in Italy. So Bruno Fernandes is now our first signing of this year, and he is our 4th signing overall under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. So Solskjaer has now recruited 4 players to the club in 3 transfer windows. But, we're obviously seeing Bruno Fernandes as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. But, I can't wait till he does start playing. But, yeah, like I said, he's going to make his debut against Wolves. Like I said, Bruno Fernandes to Man United, looked dead in the water a couple of days ago, because, don't forget, Barcelona came in right at the final hurdle. They was planning, to get him and then immediately put him out on loan to Valencia so they could get Rodrigo. But he revealed, did Bruno Fernandes, that his preference was a move to the Premier League. This is what he did currently reveal. Excuse me. This is what he did currently reveal and that, but yeah, it did look dead in the water because, you know, we wasn't the first willing to meet Sporting Lisbon's valuation. But like I said, you know, they stood firm on their valuation. You know, they said they wanted £68 million. Obviously, Sky Sports confirmed a couple of days ago anywhere we'd increased our bid twice. This is obviously, you know, when Barcelona went in for him. So yeah, so Bruno Fernandes is now on the board and he's going to be playing in this game against Wolves, I should presume. So, obviously, you know, going into this game against Wolves, you know, obviously, you know, we've had back-to-back defeats in the Premier League, you know, losing 2-0 at Anfield to Liverpool, also losing, you know, 2-0 at home to Burnley for the first time in like 58 years, you know, so we need to get back to winning ways in the Premier League. Of course, we have registered 34 points from 24 league games so far. We do remain 6 points behind top four. Obviously, you know, we are still in that top four race. And like I mentioned, you know, top four is a priority for Manchester United this season. It is really a priority for us because we want to get in that top four. So in that aspect, we can get qualification for the Champions League. So we are still in that. You know, obviously, you know, want to try and get some silverware on the board this season. You know, want to try and win, you know, the FA Cup because, you know, there's a possibility chance we can win the FA Cup. You know, we progressed past Tranmere in the 4th round, winning by 6-0. You know, obviously, you know, that was the first time we'd scored 6 goals since the Ferguson era. And that was our biggest win away from home since the 8-1 win against Forest back in 1999. So, in the 5th round, we've obviously, you know, either got the winners of Northampton or Derby. So, I think Derby will win the replay. So, Wayne Rooney will be reuniting with Manchester United. Of course, Wayne Rooney is player manager of Derby. And, you know, Rooney did enjoy 13 years at Manchester United and obviously scored 253 goals in all competitions. So, he is, you know, our all-time leading goal scorer. So even if we don't win the cup, you know, I'd love us to enjoy a good cup run. You know, we progressed to the quarterfinals last season. You know, the Europa League, that's another route to Champions League football for us. You know, and obviously it's a chance of getting silverware on the board. So we have got quite a few ambitions. Wolves are on the exact same points as Manchester United. You know, they've registered 34 points from 24 games. But we are ahead of them on goal difference. And Wolves are sitting 7th. They are actually nowhere below Tottenham. So this is actually, you know, the 3rd time we're going to be playing Wolves in 4 weeks. You know, obviously, you know, Solskjaer has now obviously, you know, beaten Wolves as a manager because the last time we played them, we beat them in the FA Cup 3rd round replay by 1-0. I think, you know, that was a goal from Juan Mata in that game. So Solskjaer is now looking to beat Wolves for the 2nd time as a manager in that. And, you know, Wolves do seem to be our bogey team. Of course, you know, I do like Wolves. I think they've got some really good players in their team. You know, they've obviously, you know, got a good manager in Nuno Santo. You know, Nuno Santo, of course, this is currently the 4th club. Wolves is currently, I think, the 4th club he's managing. And he's emulated himself up, you know. Don't forget, he got Wolves to a 7th place finish last season. He got Wolves to a 7th place finish last season. You know, Wolves got to the FA Cup semi-final last season for the first time in 21 years. And Wolves did get automatic qualification for the Europa League, reflecting on how good they did last season. They did get automatic qualification for the Europa League, and now they are in some knockout stages, but I'm very sceptical that Wolves, of course, will win it. And there's a couple of players I'd take out of Wolves' team. And, you know, I'd take Ruben Neves. I'd probably, you know, take Raul Jimenez. Don't forget, Man United were in for both players early on in the window. But, yeah, but, you know, Wolves are a pretty decent team, and that, you know, they did the double overs last season at Molineux. So it's going to be interesting to see how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer approaches this game. But, you know, like I said, Wolves, his record against the top 6 sides is very, very good. So we do need to win this game against Wolves. You know, we need to win this game against Wolves. Better team news, and then we'll get on with the starting 11 prediction and all that. Alex Tuanzebe is still out for Manchester United. I think he could be back for the game against Chelsea on the 17th, could Alex Tuanzebe. Also, to Paul Pogba, possibly he could be back for the Chelsea game. Don't forget, Solskjaer recently provided us with some news regarding Paul Pogba, and he said Paul Pogba has had his ankle cast removed, so he should be back sometime in February. But Paul Pogba's only played around 8 games this season for Man United, because he's missed the vast majority of our games this season due to injury. But I'm still convinced he will leave Manchester United in the summer anyway. But when he comes back, that will be more beneficial. Of course, McTominay's still out. He's also out until February. Obviously, Eric Bailly's now back. Since he's come back, he hasn't played yet. So when is Eric Bailly going to get his chance? Eric Bailly was out with a knee injury since pre-season. He hasn't played in the Premier League since April of last season, that is. Fosu-Mensah's now back. So players have come back from injury. Of course, Rashford's out, I think, for at least the next couple of months. He sustained a double fracture in his back, basically. So yeah, that's a bit of team news and that. And I presume Solskjaer will make some changes, from the 1-0 win against Man City in the Carabao Cup semi-final second leg at the Etihad. He'll make a couple of changes, but I do believe, from my own perception, Solskjaer needs to persist with the back three. He's gone with the back three in the last 2 games. Went with the back three against City. He also went with the back three against Tranmere. And I think us playing three at the back seems to suit our standards, because I think, that 4-2-3-1 formation, it doesn't suit our standards, and Solskjaer's been going with that formation on a regular basis this season, so we need to stick with the 3-4-1-2, or maybe, go with the 3-5-2, but we do look a lot more expansive, with 3 at the back. You saw I'm going to get on with the starting 11 prediction in a minute, but you saw my match reaction, didn't you, for the Manchester City-Manchester United game? We did win the game by 1-0, of course, at the Etihad. Solskjaer is the 3rd manager in history to beat Pep Guardiola in 2 away games. So he has, he's matched Jurgen Klopp and Jose Mourinho's record, and, this is what he has basically done. And I think, it's the first time we've beaten Man City in 2 competitive matches since the 2009-10 season. So Solskjaer has made history in that aspect. So we obviously we didn't go through overall because we went out 3-2 on aggregate. Obviously, you can say the damage was done in the first leg because we was 3-1 down from the first leg, basically. But, We wasn't that good in the game against Man City. I thought maybe we had a 10-minute spell. City were totally dominant in the game. They were totally dominant in both legs, in my opinion. City in the first 20-25 minutes, like I said, should have been at least 2 or 3-0 up. I think City must have had around 9 or 10 shots in the first half. They was pressing us. We couldn't play out from the back. The likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Raheem Sterling, Riyad Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, Aguero, all of them were pressing us so much. Aguero had a good 3 or 4 opportunities. David De Gea saved. David De Gea was fantastic for us, and he's still regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the world, even though he's made some mistakes this season. Raheem Sterling had a big chance, especially in the second half. Aguero and Raheem Sterling had both of their goals ruled out, and it was the correct decision because they were both offside. So that was definitely the correct decision. Lindelof and Harry Maguire made, I think, some mistakes in the game. Lindelof, I think, made one, was it in the first half? Harry Maguire made one in the second half, so that could have led to a Man City goal. But Matic got our only goal of the game. It was a very, very good goal from the Man U Matic, and it came out of the blue because that was our first shot on target. I think, the sending off is very controversial. Some people believe that Matic deserved to be sent off. Some people believe he didn't deserve to be sent off. And Solskjaer gave his overarching view on that. And, he says it was a joke. So he feels as though, from his own perception, that Matic should not have been sent off in the game. Because, in that game against City, Matic was our best player. I've got to be honest, I credit him for that. He played between the lines well. He showed a lot of creativity in that midfield. His distribution were good. But I've got the same perception on Fred in that particular game, because I also thought Fred put a really good performance out. But the likes of the attacking trio were very, very quiet. Lingard was terrible. You saw Solskjaer, of course, shouting at Jesse Lingard from the touchline. He says, any more and you'll be effing coming off. Solskjaer actually, swore at Lingard. Martial, for me, I think he had 2 good chances in the game, but for me, in the game, didn't get enough service. Greenwood didn't get enough service in the game and that. So overall, it wasn't a good performance, but at least we still won the game on the night, and that's the second time we've beaten Manchester City this season at the Etihad. And I think, that was Solskjaer's, was it 3rd or 4th visit against Pep Guardiola as manager? So, we know at least we put some effort in. I do, I suppose we did put some effort in, to be fair. But obviously, Man City have progressed to the final. I think they're going to win the Carabao Cup again, and Man City, they've won it in the past 2 seasons and that, and I think they're going to comfortably beat Aston Villa and Man City. So Man City are going to get some silverware on the board there, definitely. So now we will get on with the starting 11 prediction for this game against the Wolves. So I think Man United are going to probably stick with 3 at the back. Definitely, I think we're going to go with a 3-4-1-2 again. Obviously he's going to keep David De Gea in goal. Obviously, I'm going to go with Wan-Bissaka at right back because Wan-Bissaka, he's a very, very good right back for us. And I think since he's come in, he's been an absolute revelation for Manchester United. And I do believe he can be our right back for the next decade. Centre-back partnership, of course, will be Harry Maguire. Sorry, what do I mean? I went with the 3-4-1-2, didn't I? Sorry, Bissaka will be playing at right wing-back, I meant to say. That was my mistake, sorry. So, the 3 centre-backs, Solskjaer will go with. We'll go with De Gea in goal, yeah. The 3 centre-backs, Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof. He'll go with either Bay, or he'll go with Phil Jones, or he'll go with Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw, of course, was playing at centre-back against Manchester City, but he shouldn't have been playing at centre-back against Manchester City in that. So I probably believe the 3 centre-backs he'll go with Harry Maguire, Lindelof, and Phil Jones, yeah. The left wing-back, Brandon Williams, of course, because now we see Brandon Williams as our first choice, Obviously, full-back now. I think he's a much better solution than Luke Shaw, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. And Wan-Bissaka at right wing-back. The 2 central midfielders, I presume, will be Fred and Matic, or Fred and Pereira. Probably, Fred and Matic. In that number 10, obviously, Bruno Fernandes in that number 10. And I think up front, Anthony Martial and Mason Greenwood. So I think, Mason Greenwood does need to start this game because, I said, didn't I, Solskjaer needs to give Mason Greenwood more chances because I don't think, Greenwood's he hasn't been given enough starts in the Premier League this season and it's been totally comparison in, like the cup games and that because he's been getting starts. But Greenwood's on 10 senior goals for the football club this season in 20-odd first team appearances. And this is his first season in the senior squad. But I think as Greenwood develops more, I think he will emulate to Rashford's level. Probably, will end up overtaking Rashford. So we'll go through 11 again that I'm predicting. De Gea in goal. The 3 centre-halves, Maguire, Lindelof, Jones. Left wing-back, Williams. Right wing-back, Bissaka. Centre-mids, Fred, Matic. Number 10, Bruno Fernandes, and Martial and Greenwood up top. So that is my starting M11 prediction for this game. So I probably could go with a similar lineup, to what he went with against City. And also to Tranmere, but of course we'll make a couple of changes. And I'm going to predict a Manchester United win now, especially we've got Fernandes. I'm going to predict a 3-1 win to Manchester United, definitely. So hopefully now we can go on a good winning run. Like I said, I'm delighted with the signing of Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, we know that's not enough. Obviously, more signings are needed at Manchester United. And that, I still think, we need to get a holding midfielder in. So we need another midfielder. But we're going to obviously orchestrate on making more signings in the summer. I think from my own perception, we need around 3 to 4 more signings if we are to be back to being a competitive elite level football club. But hopefully, Bruno Fernandes can do something. We don't only need to see more incomings though, we also need to see more outgoings. And I think Solskjaer has confirmed in the summer, there will be more departures. Obviously, Ashley Young has left the football club this year. He went to Inter Milan for 1.5 million. So he's reuniting with Lukaku and Sanchez in the Inter Milan team. Young did enjoy 8.5 years with Manchester United. But obviously reflecting on the departure of Young, Harry Maguire had been given the captaincy on a permanent basis. And I think Harry Maguire does deserve the captaincy anyway, and I think that was the right decision from the football club. So that was a good piece of business by Manchester United and that, because I think Maguire's done really, really well since he came in from Leicester last summer. I gave you the news, didn't I, regarding Marcus Rojo earlier on. Obviously, he's gone out on loan to He's gone out on loan to Estudiantes or something like that, however you pronounce the name. But he has gone on loan. He's gone back to Argentina. He actually began his career in Argentina. He did Marcus Rojo. So he's gone on a 6-month loan to Estudiantes, however you pronounce the name. I might have pronounced it wrong. I apologise if I have. But he's gone out on loan there with them. And, we got Rojo for £16 million from Sporting Lisbon back in 2014. Obviously, Rojo for Man United did make 122 appearances, but he'd only started 13 league games in the past 2 years. So that just indicated out how much he was surplus to requirements at Manchester United. But we've made the right decision doing that. I said Rojo was one of the players that needed to go. Of course, we did give him a long-term contract last season. He signed a 3-year deal. Rojo should have actually gone to Everton last summer because Everton were in for him last summer. They inquired about getting him on loan, but now Rojo has officially gone on loan to Estudiantes. I think Matic still needs to be moved on. I think Lingard needs to go, too inconsistent. Probably Luke Shaw needs to go because he's struggling to find consistency. So these 2 more players that definitely need to leave Man United. Probably Pereira needs to be moved on. But these 2 players I would be determined to keep at the football club, definitely in that. But obviously, reverting back to what I said about Bruno Fernandes, it doesn't change. Obviously, he's going to change that midfield, obviously, because he's going to bring that creativeness, like I said. But it isn't going to change, what's been going on with the club and that. It's not going to, obviously, stop us from protesting, Ed Woodward and the Glazers. Because, obviously, we want Ed Woodward and the Glazers out of the football club. Obviously, a lot of United fans are protesting Ed Woodward and the Glazers. I still believe that Solskjaer isn't a long-term solution for Man United, but now Bruno Fernandes could save Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure at the football club. Definitely. I think we also need to get rid of our current board. So in general, we need to see a variety of changes at the football club. In this game against Wolves on Saturday, there was reports saying that, some of our fans could be walking out in the 58th minute of the game due to what's going on with the club. That's the main explanation. Plus, with the remembrance of 1958, the Munich air disaster. So whether this happens or not, I do not know. So they might not even walk out after 58 minutes. It isn't assured that it's actually going to happen, basically. But yeah, so we're hopeful that we can try and get someone in on loan before this January transfer window does shut. We are hopeful of that. We need to try and get a striker in on loan. Obviously, Solskjaer confirmed after the game against City, that he wants to, get a striker in before this January transfer window does shut. Obviously, there's been talks about Odion Igalo from Shanghai, Greenland, Chenu. Obviously, Man United are in for him. He's a former Watford player. He's 30 years of age. Obviously, Islam Slimani, Man United and Tottenham have also been in for him. Tottenham are obviously in for him because, they want to get him on loan. Because obviously reflecting on the injury to Harry Kane, I think Harry Kane's out for quite some time. So yeah, we've obviously inquired about Edison Cavani earlier on in the window. So there's quite a few strikers on our agenda and that. But Rashford is not expected, like I said, back for at least the next couple of months, basically. But I think, we have got some summer targets on our agenda. In the summer, we could go in for the likes of James Maddison. We could also go in for Ben Chilwell. There's the type of players we could go in for in the summer. But I still believe in the next couple of seasons, our aspirations will be that top 4. Because I don't see us mounting any kind of title challenge up for at least the next couple of years, basically. But, I think now with Bruno Fernandes in, we can get that top 4 this season. But either way, I still believe that the club are now going to be determined to give Solskjaer another season at the club anywhere. Because this is his first full season at Man United. He has been here 13 months. Maybe we did give him the job too soon and that was a mistake from the club. Maybe we should have waited a bit longer if he was, we should have waited a bit longer to see if he is the right candidate for Manchester United. But he has been under intense pressure for the vast majority of this season, with how inconsistent we've been. You know, to be fair, we've done well against elite opposition this season, but we haven't really replicated that against lower opposition, so you can say that's an element of concern. But there isn't only problems with the backroom staff and the way the club's being run at Manchester United and that. There's also problems on the pitch because, like I said, there's still players at United that aren't good enough. There's still a lot of aspects of our game that need to improve. So, you know, a lot of things still needs to improve at Manchester United, definitely. But Solskjaer is now into his second year at the club. He knows he's got many expectations to exceed. He's got 2.5 years left on his deal. I think he'll see out his 2.5-year deal at the club, Solskjaer, if things are to improve. If it doesn't, then I'm very sceptical he will see out his 2.5-year deal. It is actually official that Solskjaer is the worst manager we've had, you know, because he's lost more games now in the Premier League than he's won. And we have enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. So we haven't actually, you know, ever been as bad as this to this point in the Premier League era. It was bad enough last season because last season we finished 6th. And I said at the start of this season, I expected us to have a better season this season than what we saw last season. I think the lowest we've ever finished in the Premier League era was back under Moyes. And that season under Moyes, we finished 7th. But, you know, like I said, you know, reflecting on the size of this club, reflecting on the money that's been invested into this football club in the last 6 or 7 years, we should be much more of a better position than we're in now, you know, without a shadow of a doubt. You know, obviously we've got the highest wage bill in the Premier League and that. But, you know, things can be turned around at Manchester United and that. But don't forget, you know, there's only 4 players now that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, and that's James, Bissaka, Maguire and Fernandes. You know, the vast majority of these players are Jose Mourinho's, because Jose Mourinho recommended 11 players into the club. Solskjaer's still inheriting the vast majority of them. There's still players here from the Van Gaal era. You know, maybe, I think maybe in the last 6-7 years, maybe there's players that we've brought in who we shouldn't have got rid of. Maybe you could say we should have kept Daley Blind because he was quite good for United. You know, some people say maybe we should have kept Di Maria, you know, because he's on that list of one of our most expensive signings. I think we paid around 60 million for him. Van Gaal brought him in, you know, Falcao. Some people maybe would say we should have, you know, kept him. But, you know, there's still players here now from the Van Gaal era. You know, Moyes only recommended 2 players in, but Moyes was only at Man United for 10 months. You know, he brought Juan Mata in and Fellaini in. Of course, Fellaini left in January 2019. Juan Mata, of course, is still here. And I think, you know, Juan Mata is going strong. He has lost that yard of pace. Obviously, doesn't, you know, really get enough starts now, Juan Mata. But I still think he's enjoyed a good time at Manchester United. He's now into his 6th season at the club, but he has enjoyed 5 years here. And there's still around, there's 2 players here from the Alex Ferguson era, so I'm hopeful, I did say, didn't I, I'm hopeful that this team at this day and age can replicate what the team did under Ferguson, but hopefully, you know, Solskjaer can bring, you know, more signings in the summer that can, you know, emulate into the players, you know, that we did have under the Alex Ferguson era and that, so I am very, very hopeful of that indeed. Obviously, another bad decision from the club is bringing Alexis Sanchez back because Sanchez is coming back to Manchester United in the summer. You know, he's coming back to Manchester United in the summer, is Sanchez, after his loan spell with Inter Milan. So he's going to be joining the rest of, you know, the squad for the pre-season tour. You know, Solskjaer believes from his own perception that Sanchez will prove everyone wrong. You know, this is what Solskjaer believes. Sanchez has hardly played for Inter Milan, I think. Is it something to do with injury? Of course, Sanchez did enjoy 18 months at Manchester United, but was very inconsistent. You know, Sanchez only managed 5 goals in 45 appearances in all competitions in that 18-month period. You know, he sustained a lot of injuries as a Manchester United player, but I said the only way we'd have got rid of Sanchez was putting him out on loan, because reflecting on the the only way, you know, we'd have got rid of him is putting him out on loan, because we'd have found it difficult to get rid of him permanently, you know, reflecting on his substantial, you know, wages, because he was on around a good 400 grand a week at Man United, but with the add-ons in, you know, with the bonuses, and, you know, with the image rights, it risen up to around 500 grand a week. But we are still paying the vast majority of his wages now, whilst he's on loan at Inter Milan. But Sanchez is definitely not coming back. But Solskjaer did say, he gave us an update regarding the transfers early on the window. It was a couple of days ago, actually. He said, we will not sign players for the sake of it to satisfy our infuriated fans. And he said, you know, the number of players that we have been in for in this January transfer window, he hasn't even heard of them. So this is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, had to basically say. So I think Solskjaer, there's a lot of aspects of me that do credit him. Got a lot of trustworthy in his young players. You know, there's a lot of young players in the squad that are developing and trying to improve. That's another good thing about Fernandes, because he fits Solskjaer's transfer strategy perfectly. You know, and I think there's a lot of young players that will become a success at the club. Greenwood will do well. Williams will do well. I think Tuanzebe will do well when he comes back. Garner will do well. Diego Dalot, he's now back from injury. He'll get more opportunities. But, you know, maybe there's some young players who I don't think will do well. Angel Gomez, for me, needs to be moved on because he doesn't get enough starts. He doesn't even play hardly, Angel Gomez. Chong, I think he's going to be going to Juventus or Inter Milan in the summer when his current contract expires. But, you know, we have got a lot of young players in the squad. And I credit Solskjaer because he's got a lot of honesty about him. You know, I credit him for what he's done for the club, because he was a great player for us for 11 years under, you know, Alex Ferguson's guidance. You know, so there's a lot of things I credit him for. But my element of concern is no managerial experience, hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. He's been tactically naive for the vast majority of this season and that. So, yeah. So, these are my element of concerns about him. But, you know, whether his managerial tenure at Man United works out or not, we'll never forget, you know, what he did accomplish at the club as a player. That's something we will never, ever forget and that. But, you know, hopefully now, with the signing of Bruno Fernandes, it puts confidence into the team. And hopefully now we can, you know, have a good season from now until May. You know, hopefully. And then obviously in the summer, we'll look to get more signings in. Obviously, we get rid of players in the summer as well. We'll generate money for some, you know, some players that we do get rid of. You know, we'll get a substantial amount for Pogba. You know, we'll get, if we get rid of Jones, we'll get some money for him. You know, so yeah, happy days and that. And reverting back to what I said, that team is called Estudiantes, who Rojo's gone out on loan. So, you know, I struggled to pronounce the name right earlier on in the video. So, I do apologise for that. So, yeah, we'll be back with more live videos tomorrow, guys. Drop me comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care, God bless. And I'll see you all again very, very soon.